The Georgia State Representative Ruwa Roman joins me now. Representative Roman, good to see you again. Thank you for joining us today. Before you delivered that speech outside, you added a note about what the speech was intended to do, and you were talking about the fact that you fully understand, as do I don't know, I don't want to represent people in uncommitted what they think, but you certainly are of the belief that electing Kamala Harris is an imperative. But you wanted your message out there. Tell me about a little bit about that.
Yeah, so, first and foremost, thank you so much for having me. And to be clear, I was not a delegate. I went to Chicago for a panel with Arab American Institute and a couple of other events and was supposed to actually come home, I think either Thursday or Wednesday. But I loved what Uncommitted has been doing since December. What they've done is they have kept our community that has been full of so much despair engaged in the process and teaching them how to use these levers to get the policy decisions that they wanted. That's why I support them. That's why I've been working with them. We all wanted to come to a place of unity and a place of yes. We were willing to work in good faith. We wanted to be able to say, look, we showed you how many people care about this. We told you that this is going to be a problem come November. Please listen to us. And we are willing to even accept just a symbolic gesture of a singular Palestinian. Doesn't matter who it is, a singular Palestinian, couple of minutes on the stage, and it would go such a long way for our communities.
You are somebody, you are a Democrat, because I've gotten tweets from people this morning saying they weren't represented because they're not Democrats. You're a Democrat. You actually are involved in getting people to come out and vote. You are an example of someone who was not deeply involved in American politics. You went to get involved. As I recall, the story was great about how someone, sort of misunderstood you to say that you were running for office, published a story, and all of a sudden you were off to the races, and now you are a state representative. You're not looking to rip down the Democratic Party.
No, I mean, I have been an organizer for 10 years. I've only been elected official for barely a full term. My goal and my passion and the thing that I care the most about truly and sincerely is civic engagement. I want to teach regular, average, everyday people that they can have political influence. You don't have to be somebody who is, fancy or with a specific pedigree to be able to make sure that your voice is heard in our political systems. Because frankly, the nihilism is just allowing this awful self-fulfilling prophecy. And as more people disengage, sort of the worse the policies that we are seeing get. And I've been passionate about that for 10 years. I've been doing this for 10 years. And that's why I cared so much about bridging this divide, because I did not want to keep losing so many people who are losing faith, so much faith, in despair about everything that is happening, including our elections.
And yet, when Kamala Harris sort of became the heir apparent, the nominee, she did say things. We're not a departure from Biden-Harris policy, but they seem to be empathetic toward the needs of those people who continue to suffer in Gaza. Tell me whether that offsets things at all. Is there a sense among people in the uncommitted movement that Kamala Harris does hear and understand the complaint?
Yeah, so I was incredibly honored to get an opportunity to speak with her briefly when she came to Atlanta. And I relayed to her that our community, as soon as they heard that she would be our presumptive nominee, was cautiously optimistic. They appreciated how much more empathetic she had been in her speech, talking about the people of Gaza and Palestinians overall. It was incredibly powerful to be able to use that and say, rekindle that hope a little bit. The problem is that people still needed some form of assurance that the bombs are going to stop, that are mass slaughtering their family members. And again, to be clear, the Uncommitted had multiple asks. A speaker was one of those asks, but it was the bare minimum symbolic one. And it was meant to continue that spark of hope that we had seen. We are trying to not just keep it going, but grow it a little bit. And to be quite honest, I'm not really sure where we go from here. There's a lot of anger and disappointment that there was not a single Palestinian speaker who got even just a couple of minutes on that stage. Frankly, personally, for me, I'm from Georgia. I saw a Republican from Georgia on that stage who is anti-choice, passed an anti-trans bill, and I get the importance of building a large tent. I want to include as many people as possible in our party. But when that comes at the expense of other people who have been in this party for way longer and way more supportive, I don't know what to do with that. I really don't know how to work and bridge the gap that we have seen. If I don't even know if they, I don't really know where to go from here, to be quite honest.
Personally, does it change what you do? Because I know you've been involved in trying to get people to make sure they're registering to vote and show up on November 5th. You have articulated something that many people have articulated, that Donald Trump is a danger to everybody in this country on many levels. Does it change your plan?
I mean, to be clear, I'm running for re-election. I have an opponent this year, so we are working hard. I actually just launched a canvass right before this to knock doors. The reality is that things do not change at the federal level. And what I tell people is that while we can't win on all issues at the ballot box, we can at least make sure we don't lose. And between elections, we apply pressure, and particularly down ballot, candidates like me who are state representatives are closer to your front door. And so my commitment to that has not changed, because I recognize that as we build infrastructure, we become sort of a force to be reckoned with, a coalition that cannot be ignored, but it does require both short-term and long-term planning. In terms of what's going to happen with the Harris campaign, I already had I originally had a plan to endorse after the convention. I even had saved the little form to become a surrogate. I don't know if they want that endorsement. I really do not know sort of what is going to happen next. All I know is that right now I need to take some time to make sure that my community is okay, because understandably they're upset. And I want to be clear, when I say my community, I'm not just talking about Arabs. I'm not just talking about Palestinians. The reason this moment is so profound is because, and like I said in my speech, it's a beautiful, multi-faith, multi-generational, multi-racial coalition that emerged on this. It is the base of our party. I, again, was not supposed to be at the convention, but when I walked around McCormick, people were wearing these stoles that said Democrats for Palestinian rights. They were wearing ceasefire pins. They had little Palestinian flags. I mean, the base has moved on this. And for me personally, I'm not giving up on that.
Representative Roman, great to call you that, because that's what you are. You're elected state representative from Georgia. Thank you for being on the show.
Thanks for having me.